JFK files. Finally, are we going to see them?
Well, of course not. Maybe. We hope so. I don't know. I did just run a poll in the chat. There it is. I wanted to see what the audience thinks. Who killed JFK? The options are Oswald, LBJ and the CIA, Cuba / the Mafia, or the Mossad.
Want to throw Oswald in there?
What's that?
You throw Oswald in there?
Well, he was number one. Do you want me to repeat the question? The poll is...
No, I'm mocking you for putting Oswald as a realistic choice. But I get it. He was the patsy.
Your sarcasm did not translate well. Sorry, it went right over my head.
You need to change your
As
tone,
most
Brandon.
things do,
A little
I'm
autistic
small.
on both sides.
What's that?
It's a little autistic on both sides, I guess.
Oh,
Aw.
wow, that was rude. She
I
just
said
died.
both sides.
He said the autistic on both sides.
Yeah. All right, go on.
Who do you think is more?
Oh, I
got
don't
a
know.
touch
Make
of
it a
autism?
poll question.
That'll be the next poll. Who has the most autism on the podcast? All right. Yesterday was announced by President Trump. By the way, are we happy with President Trump? It's been less than a week.
Oh, he's
20 out of 10.
Can I say one thing?
We are
guys?
so back.
Robbie, I woke up this morning, Amy, and I swear to you guys, I walk by myself, nobody's there, and out loud I go, America's fucking back. Like, Rob, we are so back. He looks like he's on a different playing field. He doesn't give a damn. He's not letting nobody bother him. And notice how the media they're coming after him again. Like, because remember when Joe Biden would talk, nobody would get loud. Now he's telling reporters like, stop, don't talk. Anyway, next. I love it, Rob, and we're back. And I better see some freaking documents.
Well, he hasn't hit the one benchmark I still have for him yet. It's only been 4 days, so fair enough. He needs to drop everything they have on Epstein. Because if Trump goes the next 4 years and does not declassify Epstein, he's going to exit the presidency with me convinced he's on the list and they did everything he said he did. So he needs to drop the Epstein files.
I believe he's on the list, but not for doing bad things.
Well, then
like I
by
believe
all
he was
means
on a jet
declassify
at
it.
one point.
Yeah.
You got to think. I don't fault Bill Clinton for being on the jet. I don't, because you got to think when you get to that level, you don't know who owns what jet you're riding
We've been on
around
multiple jets. We don't know.
And you were doing a tour of Africa. There were a lot of people from the White House on those jets. I have a bigger problem with the back massages that there's photographs of. So I don't disagree. I think he does need to come out and do that. I hope that he does.
said,
I can tell you
4
this
days.
much. After, it's been 4 days, 5.
Yeah.
We're on day number 5. And it feels like, and God, I can't believe I'm saying this because I sound, and there's nothing wrong with being MAGA. There's nothing wrong with it. But I was so far the other end a long time ago. To be here today and going, promises made, promises kept. He said, I'm going to put people back on the border. There were already buoys going into the Rio Grande. You're looking at the mass deportations going on in Boston and New York City. He did. He promised at the Libertarian Convention, I am going to free Ross Ulbricht. And he did. And now he promised and campaigned on. So what's really cool is for the first time in my lifetime, a guy campaigned and told me he was going to do something, and I voted for him based on the things that he said he was going to do, and then that guy got elected, and he's doing that.
You know what I heard? I heard that he has an actual list of every campaign promise he made, so he's making a point of it to check everything off before
It's like a Santa Claus. He's making a list.
And really, and he is. He's our orange Santa Claus. I love
He's making a list. He's checking it twice. Going to find out who's getting deported by ICE. Donald Trump is coming to town.
Boston Rhymes.
Connor,
Thank you.
Connor, that was fantastic.
Did you write that before the show?
No.
Oh, Connor.
I'm just that good.
Connor's good.
All right, so real quick, I hate to be that guy, but I would like to shout out a guy named John Coaster on Minect. We have been Minecting back and forth. My Minect is in the link if you'd like to Minect with me. I'm number 1 on the leaderboard. Would like to extend that, and I'd love to chat with you, the viewer of the Unusual Suspects podcast. But John sent me a message, and he goes, hey, I want to know what your thoughts are on Trump being elected. And one of the things I said to him, because he has a son that's 6 years old, and I said, how do you feel? And like, I wanted to know if he was as optimistic for this country's future as I am. One of the few times that I've cried around Patrick Bet-David, and I don't know if he saw it or not, but it was when we were in the suite. And I'm watching Trump speak from the rotunda, and he's talking about saving this country for the future, for the children, to protect the kids. And I went, oh, that hits so... I actually feel like my kids are going to grow up in a safe country, whereas if Kamala Harris had been elected, I don't know if there would be a country for them to grow up in. Yeah. So it really feels like when he talks about the golden age of America, like you said, America is back. Holy and like I feel like this is just a start. This is 4 days in. Yeah. How great is the next 4 years going to be? We have 3 years 11 months and like 26 days of this.
I have family members that I don't even talk to anymore because of this situation. And I just laugh because it's like, hey, all your BS, all your Hitler, all your wars, all your everything, it didn't work. Nobody's buying your shit. CNN is finito. They're laying off 200 people. Jim Acosta has got the midnight slot now, Mr. Fake News, and he's like, I'm going to leave. Good. And it just sucks because these people they're so party blind loyalty. They're never going to change. But this guy's done more in 4 days than Joe Biden has done. And I'm saying this in his entire career.
Were you the one that said that maybe he was the one that said it.
What?
Somebody said in 4 days, Donald Trump has managed to reverse all of Joe Biden's policies that took
75?
4
Yeah, he
years
did.
to put in.
That was
How
one
many-
of them. That was one of the executive orders. He undid like
75?
things. Yeah, the things that Biden did.
So one of the things that he did sign was the executive order. Here it is. Trump orders the release of the final classified JFK assassination documents. I've been tied up today, so I have not had a chance to really dive in. I can tell you the background of what I know. I know, Connor, you have some interesting insight into some of the things that have been released. And then I'd like to go around and figure out what you guys think is actually going to happen, who is behind it, and if we ever get the answers. But yesterday, Trump signed an executive order mandating the declassification and release of all remaining government records related to the assassinations of JFK, RFK, and MLK. The executive order directs the Director of National Intelligence and the Attorney General to do two things. The first, within 15 days, present a plan for the full and complete release of records concerning the assassination of JFK. So it doesn't mean that in 15 days we're going to have all the information. Correct me if I'm wrong. That means in 15 days the president is given a plan that's going to decide the release of those documents.
Correct.
Okay. So the second thing is that within 45 days, review records related to RFK and MLK's assassinations also have to have a plan in place to do the same. So it doesn't mean we're going to have answers in 2 weeks, but it does mean we're closer to getting those answers. Here is President Trump yesterday signing the executive order to release the JFK, RFK, and MLK files.
Yeah, could we put the volume up a little bit in here?
Lastly,
Yeah,
sir,
perfect,
we have an
perfect.
executive
Nice.
order ordering the declassification of files relating to
it's a
the
big one.
assassinations of
Watch
President
this.
John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one.
Watch. And look who he says the pen goes to at the end.
Amazing.
Watch.
For years, for decades.
He has the best signature ever, bro. It's so big and
his extra
black.
dark
And
pen.
everything will be revealed.
Everything will be revealed.
Everything will be revealed.
Watch this. And look who he's
Okay.
giving the pen to, Amy. Watch this.
Give that to RFK Jr.
Give it to RFK Jr.
Beautiful.
Wow.
I love
Dude,
it. So
that's emotional.
Give
that to the freaking, oh my God, bro.
now
Give
the
it.
internet is, of course, and you know what I like? He did that at the ceremony at the
Capital One Arena.
where he threw maybe I'm crazy, but him throwing the pens that he was signing these executive orders to the audience, to me, that felt like he was giving the power back to the people. Am I the only person that read that into
No,
that?
that's
Or-
exactly
100%.
what that is.
Okay, I have to just, because I'm like, maybe I'm reading this in, maybe I'm like
Because
tripping balls. I don't know.
the presidential pens are always given as gifts of like, okay, wrap this in a box
It's
and give it to
huge.
whatever dignitary or person helped back this bill. But he's up there, he's throwing out pens like party favors, like, I'm doing this for you.
But you know,
Yeah.
Take
CNN
them down there.
reports Trump assaults spectators and audience at crowd with
Same way
projectile.
he threw
Oh my
he was
goodness,
throwing
you-
paper towels
really
at the
say
Puerto
that?
Rico hurricane victims. And
I remember
kidding?
that,
Are you
and I
kidding?
actually fell for that. I'm like, why is he? He was.
it's called
He
crowd
was
work.
shooting them
Yeah,
like
yeah.
basketballs.
Yeah, he's making it
was
fun.
funny.
Yeah.
It was funny.
He has made things entertaining. Okay, so real quick, the assassination records, just so you guys and everybody at home knows, because I posted this on Twitter and at the Rob Show TV if you're on Twitter, and the thing that I posted was, will we get the release? Will we get the names of the people who were involved? And the common tweet that I got back, or X that I got back, was that 99% of the records, bro, have already been released. And so when I hear that, I was like, oh, okay, that is kind of discouraging. But then do you guys know how much is the 1% that hasn't been released? 4,684 documents related to the assassination. That's a shitload of documents that haven't been released. So while I understand that we've gotten the 99%, what concerns me is, why have they kept that 1% held secretive for 63 years at this point, 62 years. And do we think that we're going, because remember, in the I hate to tie it back to 9/11, but quickly, the joint inquiry into intelligence community's activities before and after the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001. It was a document that the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence put together regarding the 9/11 attacks. It was released in December of 2002. It included a 28-page section that was titled Part 5, Finding, Discussion, discussion, and narrative regarding certain sensitive national security matters, which was internally classified and withheld from the public due to national security concerns. And the reports in those documents was that the Saudi Arabian government funded the terrorists that took out the World Trade Centers and the Pentagon on 9/11. Then they released the files in 2016. There was no smoking gun. But the government has withheld information from the country for long periods of time before, and then have released it, and there was no smoking gun. Do you guys think, with 4,684 papers remaining, that 1% that is hidden will tell us exactly what happened on JFK's assassination, November 22nd in 1963? And do we ever find out what happened to the missing frames from the Zapruder film? Because there are missing frames as well.
Amy, what do you think?
I honestly, I can't really give a super educated opinion on this. I have no idea.
Like, do you think?
I genuinely.
Okay, so here's my thing. Why else would you keep for this long? Keep pulling it back. 1,000 and how?
4,684.
4,000 documents. The only explanation, I don't want to hear this. Well, it's the national security. My opinion is that you have proof in there that the government was involved somehow. Because, guys, really wrap your head around this. If these documents come out and we find out, I want to know what you guys think would happen, Connor, 4,000 pages or whatever. If the FBI or the CIA in cahoots with the mafia and Cuba, these little rebels, all colluded with Lyndon B. Johnson, who was coming in, who was the vice president, and they said, listen, guys, we're about war. We're a war machine. We have to be at Vietnam. He's trying to integrate, blacks and whites. And guys, we have to get rid of him. And they did it. Do you understand what happens? That a former United States president had a hand in murdering the most highest level of treason. I mean, I would dig up his grave and choke his ass and hang him. That's how I would if he's buried somewhere like in a Arlington or wherever, I would dig up his grave and I would urinate on it. If that's what Lyndon B. Johnson did, because if you read Roger Stone's book, The Man Who Killed JFK, it's him. It's him. There's no other explanation, bro. They were all in on it. And if that's going to destroy the CIA and the FBI, so fucking be it.
Well,
go to hell, all of you.
Didn't Trump review the documents very
saw
briefly in his first term?
He
And
knows what
didn't he
happened.
say he had fear that if it was released, it would create so much distrust in the American public that it would break the fabric of society?
Mike Pompeo convinced him not to do it.
Mike Pompeo.
Why does Mike Pompeo care about it? Was he like 40, 50? So what the hell does he have to do
You know
with
why,
it?
Brandon? Because he's in the CIA. He was in the CIA. He led the CIA. Could you imagine if the industry, the agency that you're running had a hand in it, and then Trump was like, all right, but he just removed Mike Pompeo.
They would
the thing
freaking
that-
justify it though. I hope that the whole population would have the reaction that you are saying, but I think they would just justify it. They'd be like, yeah, it was a different time. Things got crazy.
Oh yeah, no, I think that they would try, but no.
No,
Americans would be fucking livid. And you know how many people would say, I told you so? You know how many fucking times I watched the movie JFK? What's up, Rob?
No, sorry. I had no idea. I thought the frames that were missing were very small from the Zapruder film, but it says there's 486 frames captured approximately 26.6 seconds. Notably, frames 208 to 211 are missing. I thought it was only one, but it's three different
edited
frames
it,
that are
yeah.
missing. And apparently there was a guy that took it to a I believe that they took it to the guy, Zapruder, that had the film. He gave it to somebody, and then that person, the government came and took the film, took it to a Kodak at that time editor, and then brought back the film. And nobody has ever seen the untouched film. So it's all very interesting that they've held it for so long. So anybody here think Oswald did it? Nobody here thinks Oswald.
Here's the thing I'm thinking to be careful of with the JFK files. If it comes out and the entire thing says, no, it was actually Russia, look out for what they will try to do with that. Because there's a possibility that Mike Pompeo tells Trump, these, 4,684 documents,
Yep.
they show the level to which the Soviets had infiltrated the United States, and Oswald was working with them. He was the patsy they set up for it. Jack Ruby was on the payroll of the Soviets. if they're trying to set up this whole thing about Russia killed Kennedy, they will try to use that for the political agenda that has us against Russia right now. There are a lot of other key players that should be identified, but I don't know if the thing that brings down the CIA will be included in that. Because we already know the government is full of people who spent Trump's whole first term lying to him and undermining him.
And
a
deleting
lot of them are
documents,
gone.
like
But-
January 6th, like they deleted a lot of the stuff
Yeah.
that, just with this committee that just happened. So you don't think you think the Warren Commission's 100%
Okay,
legit?
so Oswald or no?
Definitely not Oswald.
No.
Who?
I mean, possibly George H.W. Bush.
Okay.
But
That's an interesting take.
certainly Johnson and possibly, that other country we're
Amy,
not allowed to talk about.
you don't. No
LGB.
educated guess.
LGB. Yeah.
Okay, you.
Lyndon B. Johnson, FBI, CIA. With hold on, everybody helped. Everybody helped. You know what's crazy? What if all the shooters, all of them had like at least a blank in their magazine, so nobody knows who the actual shooter, who actually did the kill
Whoa.
shot. Think about that.
There's a multiple
that's
shooters
true.
from
Put
multiple
empty
locations.
bullets, Rob. Put blanks, so then you could never be like, well, I didn't do it. I fucking had blanks too.
Let me preface before you answer. Just for some background info, AIPAC, established in 1963 as a pro-Israel lobbying group in the United States. President Kennedy attempted to make AIPAC register as a foreign agent before the assassination attempt. Brandon, who do you think assassinated John F. Kennedy?
Certainly the star,
Okay,
the
so-
star
No,
player.
wait. But I think it was a network of people. I think like he made so many enemies. He screwed over the mafia. He was going to destroy the CIA. He was trying to dismantle the Federal Reserve. He was trying to stop the Vietnam War. So and he's trying to denuclearize the military. So like every single powerful institution in the world, he was going up against full steam ahead. So I think that everybody had a reason to want to take him out, and LBJ signed off on it.
Okay, and
But I
I'll
just want
give
to see
you.
his skull. That's all I want to see. By the way, I just want to see where he got hit from.
And my take is that Oswald was the lone shooter. The magic bullet theory is real, and this is all bullshit. So no, I'm kidding.
I was like, what
Are
the
you
hell,
serious?
Rob?
No,
I was like-
obviously, I think it was LBJ. Who had the most motive to do it? LBJ. And it is weird that George H.W. Bush was in Dallas, Texas that day, and they made a phone call going, "Hello, I'm George H.W. Bush calling live from Dallas, Texas." But then
Wow.
when they asked him where he was during the assassination, he went, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah,
That's a
I
weird
forgot.
one. I
Okay,
forgot where I was.
Let me submit another theory. There was no shooter. Kennedy's head just did that.
Yeah. Oh, it just blew up by itself.
Wow.
Oh, that's just an alien. All right,
And
guys.
that would be disturbing if that was in the
All
documents.
right. So if you like this clip, click right here, and if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.